What is up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. My name is Chester, and before we get this show on the road, I think I might as well explain what this channel is going to be about. Basically, I'm going to be telling stories. That's it. I'm going to be telling you guys some stories from my personal life because in my years of living, I've had some pretty crazy ones, and I'd like to share them because one of my favorite things to do is tell stories, and I also like to listen to stories. So yeah, I'm going to have some gameplay in the background of some of my favorite games, Skate 3, some shooter games, maybe Minecraft, who knows. We're just going to have that playing in the background, and I'm going to tell you guys some stories. So yeah, that's going to be the whole premise of this channel. So today's story, took place only about a week ago, and it's about the time that I witnessed a double hit and run and got questioned by the cops for it. That's pretty crazy. So let's get this story started out. So again, about a week ago, for a little bit of background, a little bit of context, I'm a senior in high school. And in my 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, I got somewhat decent grades, and I also got somewhat decent attendance. And because of that, I was eligible for senior short day. Basically, instead of having 7 classes, I only have 5. And instead of getting at the original 3 o'clock, I get out at around 12:30, and it's pretty awesome, let me tell you. So this took place, I just finished 5th hour English class, I was ready to go home, and I'm out in the parking lot, and usually, before I leave, out in the parking lot, I'll meet up with like a group of friends, and we'll talk for a couple minutes, we'll maybe make plans for later that day, or we'll just talk, and then go our separate ways. So I go out into the parking lot and I see all my friends. They're already standing there and talking. So I'm going up to approach them. And as I'm approaching them, before I can even say hi or dap them up or anything, I hear this really weird sound. And at first I'm confused. It's not loud, but it was heavy, if that makes sense. Like, I could tell right off the bat that this sound came from something that was big and weighed a lot. So, I look over, naturally, and I see this really large, really tall black truck. And it's just it's in the parking lot, and it's kind of in the middle of the parking lot at an angle. It's just sitting there. And so I'm really confused, and I'm looking at this. And I'm looking at this truck. And at first I thought it was the engine of the truck that made this sound. The engine sputtered out, and the truck was unable to go, and it was just stuck in the middle of the road. But before I could even have a second thought or open my mouth to say something, the truck just flung in a drive. And it flung in a drive, and then it started turning. So it wasn't able to turn enough, and it rear-ended this other smaller truck that was parked and put a big old dent in the back. And when this truck moved, flung itself in a drive and moved, I was able to see that where it was, to the right of it, hidden from view, was a Dodge Charger, and the sound that I heard earlier was the truck scraping against that Dodge Charger. And, it really messed it up. It, scratched up the lights, it took off the paint, it was just soul-crushing to see that Dodge Charger like that. So now everybody's kind of registering what just happened. It was a hit. 2 cars just got hit while this truck was trying to back out. And so everyone's kind of just ooh, that's really bad, And so before we can do anything else, this teacher comes out, because it was a chemistry teacher, and so she had an emergency exit door in her classroom, and it just happened to lead to the parking lot. So this teacher comes out, and she's like, "What just happened?" And one of my friends piped up, and he said, "That truck over there just hit 2 cars." And at this point, the person in the truck got out, and it was this girl. And I didn't recognize her, but some people did. I had no idea who she was. But she got out, and she was panicking. You can tell. She was pacing back and forth. She had her head in her hands. She didn't know what to do. And she turned around, and she saw us. My group of friends, this teacher, and then this teacher's classroom, all looking at her. And she panics again. And she makes such a dumb mistake. She piles back into her truck and she speeds off, which just means that she went from hitting 2 cars to hitting 2 cars and running away, which is really, really, really bad. She could get in a whole lot of trouble for this. So now the teacher is upset. Not my teacher, the teacher. She's upset. she's not angry or anything. She's just upset that this girl drove off because she knows that she just made a really big mistake doing that. So this teacher, she goes back into her classroom and she calls the front office on the little intercom. And they send over like a police officer, just one, in a car. And so he pulls up and he gets out the car and he talks to the teacher, and the teacher points at me and my friends and she says, "They witnessed everything, go question them." And I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Because at this specific point in time, I wasn't on best terms with the police. So I was a little bit scared of them. I was trying to like avoid them at all costs, you know. But the officer didn't recognize me. I mean, it's not like they have like a picture of me in their office with like a wanted sign over it or anything. But this officer came up and he questioned me and my friends one by one, and we all told him what happened. We all said pretty much the same thing. And so, you know, after the cop questioned us, he thanked us and he said that we were good to go. And, you know, I didn't want to leave though, because remember, this Dodge Charger got scraped up and it hurt my soul to see that. I wanted to see the victim of this. So I'm sitting around waiting with like two other of my friends. All the other ones had left by this point. And this girl comes out. And I think she was like a junior or something. But she comes out and it wasn't even her car. It was her dad's car. And I mean, man, if I was in her position, I would be screaming and crying and pissing all over the parking lot, dude. I'd be a train wreck if I were her. But she was pretty chill about it, because honestly, she was just probably about to get a pretty nice insurance claim. So she comes up and she talks to the cop, and, you know, he asks for her license and her registration of vehicle and all that nonsense. And, you know, me and my friends are talking to this girl, and she seems pretty chill about it. It doesn't seem like it's bothering her. Like, obviously it would bother anyone, but it's not like bothering her a ton. Like, she wasn't throwing a temper tantrum in the parking lot, you know, kicking at the ground and, you know, saying swear words. But, you know, so we're talking to this girl a little bit, you know, and honestly, it seems pretty fun. I never got to see who the victim of the truck was, but hopefully they got that dent sorted out. But eventually I just left because I was already 20 minutes late. You know, I wanted to get home. I didn't have work or anything that day, but I just wanted to go home. So, you know, I go home, and the story doesn't end there. The next day comes around, and it was a Friday. So everything the day before took place on a Thursday, and now today's a Friday. And if I were in this girl's position that hit these two cars and ran off, I would have skipped school that Friday. I would have skipped school that Friday, let the weekend roll out, and just hope everybody forgot everything. But no, this girl came to school. And, you know, she came to school in the exact same truck that she hit everyone in. And she parked in the same spot, too. And there were, like, no cars around her. There were, like, at least 2 empty parking spaces between her in every direction. Nobody wanted to park next to her, including me. I parked way in the back. But this girl came to school. And so lunch comes around, and my friend, we're going to call him Nate, he says that he talked to her. And I was like, why would you talk to her? You know, if I were in her position, I would want nobody to acknowledge I exist for that day. But he said he wanted to talk to her, and he just asked if she was okay. And she said, yeah, I'm all right. It's just like, you know, it was an accident. I panicked. I didn't know what to do, and I made a couple dumb decisions. And he was like, yeah, if you need anything, you know, I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. And at this point, I was like, dude, do you like her or something? You're doing all this, you know, really trying to get her attention over that, you know, like, oh, I'm here for you if you need anything. You hit 2 parked cars, blah, blah, blah. And he told me to shut up. He was not happy about that one, but so yeah. And so now I park far away. I park way in the back. I'm willing to walk the extra minute to get to my car if it means I'm not going to get hit by that girl in her truck. And yeah, you know, everything kind of just went on normally after that. I don't know what happened to the girl or the victim of the other truck that got hit. I'm sure they were able to get their insurance or whatever to help them pay for damages. And yeah, moral of the story, if you hit a car, do not drive off. If you hit a car, stay there and talk to the person you hit, because if you drive off, you will get in a heaping amount of trouble. I don't know if the girl got into any trouble for driving off. She definitely did. I don't know what kind of trouble she got into because it's honestly not my business, but she definitely did get into a lot more trouble than she would have if she didn't drive off. So if you ever hit a car or a person or like a pet or anything, do not drive off. You stay there and you wait for police to arrive, and they'll help you, and it'll be a whole lot easier and a whole lot better if you don't drive off. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. If you made it to the end, I just want to say thank you. If you like this video, show evidence of that by hitting the like button or subscribing or leaving a comment saying that you want more, just so I know that, people appreciate these videos, and I'll happily make more of them. These are fun to make. So, yeah, that's going to do it for me for now. Peace out.